Hi, everybody. So today we are going to learn all about conceptual massing. So, why do you want to use a conceptual mass? So, conceptual massing is a wonderful tool in Revit that allows you sort of to sculpt a form as if it's a block of clay, add to it, subtract to it, add all kinds of weird shapes and make very complex forms, and then bring that, say, glob of clay into a project and turn those same elements and surfaces into actual architectural components. So, say, for example, this book here is the form I made. Not very complex, but here it is. I can bring this into a project and I can turn this top surface into a roof. I can turn these sides into walls. I can turn the bottom into a floor. So I can take all the different elements of a conceptual mass and make actual architectural elements from it. It's a really quick way to go from something up in the world and in your head, and then bring it right down into nuts and bolts architecture. So let's get started. So the way we do that is we have to make a new family. I know you guys are used to families already and what families are. You can think of project as sort of the housing of the building we're making. Yeah, that'll work. And then families are different things that we bring in, and the project holds those families. So they could be furniture elements, they could be windows, doors, different generic models, things that we've modeled that need to be in the project, things like that. So we need to create a new conceptual mass family. That's how we get started with this. So I'm going to, right here, I'm in the landing page in Revit 2019, but you can do Revit 2020. That's fine. It doesn't matter which one you're on. And I'm going to go over to the left and go to families and click on new. So right over here. All right. So now this is the part of Revit where it's asking me what I want to make, because it already knows that I want to make a family. So I'm going to click over on conceptual mass folder. Just see if they, no. Okay. Conceptual mass folder, click on mass and click open. Okay. So here's our conceptual mass family environment that we have to model in. In this environment, we're going to practice 6 different tools: extrusion, blend, revolve, sweep, sweep, blend, and void. Um, Over the course of your career, will you use all of these? Maybe, maybe not. Some of them are you'll use all the time. Some of them you really don't need to. But Revit is powerful in this way, and it can make very complex geometry very quickly. So let's start with extrusion. Now, before I begin that, though, I want to make sure I got my environment where I want it. So right now, in the environment, here's what I have. I have a level 1, and I have 2 other reference planes that are sort of a center reference planes, left, right, and front, back. Okay, it just depends on which way your building's facing. Okay, but right now we're concerned with the building as a whole. So we're going to model the entire kind of form. So let's just start with a simple extrusion, and that goes maybe somewhere in this quadrant, and let's make it 4 stories high. So I only have one level in here. Let's go to the south elevation and let's copy level 1 up. Um, let's make 3 more copies of it to make 4 levels 15 feet apart. So I'm just going up to the modify tab. I'm selecting the level, going up to the modify copy command here, and just going up 15 feet. I'll do one more. Okay, we got 4 levels at 15 feet. All right, back to my 3D view, and I can see that I can see those levels in there now, and I have more of an idea of height, so I'm ready to go. So the way that we create a simple extrusion is we first just draw a line that defines some sort of shape. In our case, it'll be a rectangle, and we want to then push pull, to use SketchUp terms, that up 4 feet, 4 stories. So that would be 45 feet. So I'm going to go up to create. I'm going to click on model for model line, and I'm going to create a model line on the placement plane of level 1. Okay, that's what it's set to. And I can ignore these other settings for now. So I'm going to start drawing that right at the origin here. I'm going to go down 120 feet. I'm going to come over 60 feet. I'm going to come back 120 feet. Okay, I'm hitting escape. I'm getting out of the command. So here we have a chain of lines, 120 by 60. I'm going to select those lines, and then I'm going to go up to, now it should just, your ribbon should change. I'm going to select the lines, go up to create form, and click solid form. Boom. We've just made a simple extrusion. Now we have a hunk of clay there. Okay. Now right away, I can grab, you saw that the top plane was selected like that. I can grab that blue arrow and I can move it up and down and slide it to be at a certain height of any one of my levels. So I want that to be up at the 4th floor, so 45 feet, and I can let go, and there we go. I've got a nice chunk of stuff there. Okay, that's a simple extrusion. Now, after I've made this extrusion, I can move any plane, just like I did the top one. I also can move any line, so I can move this out. So I can sort of just play and push and pull, or I can move any point. So look how weird that looks. Okay, maybe that's a little extreme, but I'll leave it in there for now. Now I'm getting carried away. All right, so it's starting to look like a Frank Gehry building or something like that on that end. Okay, so that's a simple extrusion. I'm going to add another extrusion down on this end here. Okay, so I'm going to go to line. I'll go to level 1 for my placement plane. And I'm just going to make a rectangle to make kind of quick work of it. Something like that. I'm going to grab that rectangle and do solid form. And I'm going to match it to the same height. Actually, I'll go one level lower. Is that other one? There we go. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Maybe this side goes in a little bit. Okay, I don't like that. And I'm going to put this back because it's already bugging me. Should be able to line it up. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. It's not going to let me anymore. Let's do it that way. Let's have it poke out. That looks good. Okay, so we've made 2 simple extrusions, and that's the extrusion command. The next one we're going to do is called the blend command. So basically what that does, it takes one shape on one level, takes another shape on another level that can be a different shape, and it makes a form from it, merging this shape into that shape. Doesn't have to happen vertically, it can happen horizontally too. You just have to make sure you set up reference planes to make that happen. So I'll use 2 vertical reference planes. I'm going to use level 1, and I'll use a new level that we can put in here. I'll do copy. I'll bring this up 50 feet. And we'll call that level 5, or it's like a top of a tower. Okay, back to the 3D view. All right, here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to draw both shapes on level 1, and then I'm going to assign one of those up to level 5. It's going to be harder to draw it up here and make sure it's in the same right orientation with the one below. So I'm going to make a Let's do a circle on level 1. Do it like right down here. And let's do another ellipse on level 1, but we'll move it then. Maybe something like that. Okay, so I'm going to take this ellipse and I'm going to go up to host here in the options menu and change that to level 5. And there, it moves straight up. Okay, now I'm going to grab this shape and this shape, do create form, boom. Look at that strange form we've created. Just like the other one, this is editable. I can move it up and down. I can play with it a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It kind of looks like a nuclear power plant, I guess I'm making. Okay, so we've done extrusion and blend, and now we're going to do revolve. So revolve is kind of how you think about it. It's basically taking a shape and revolving it around an axis. So for that, we might want to draw an axis in. So let's say, for example, that I want to draw a vertical line here so that I can rotate a perfect circular sort of retaining wall out here, going around the whole axis. So I'm going to go to my floor plan view, which is here. So I want that axis to happen right here. But it looks like I actually already have a reference plane there. So this one is called center, front, back. So that's actually all I'll need. So I'm going to go to the 3D view. I'm going to go up to create model line, placement plane, center, front, back. There it is. And I'm going to draw the axes right here, just a vertical line. And then I'm going to draw a rectangle sort of out here. I can always adjust the height later, something like that. I'm going to grab that and the axes and go create form. Now it made a perfect circular form should be going entirely through my building, but we must just be missing it. I can always undo, move this guy out a little bit. There we go. Now you can really see it kind of crashing into a bunch of things. And then I can grab, say, one of the top shapes here. Move it up and down, and there. So now I know it's perfectly at level 2 because it's highlighted out there. So for example, if I want to take this, push it up to level 5, once I'm there, the level will highlight. That's hideous. Bring it back down. Okay, so we've got 3 tools at our disposal so far: extrusion, blend, revolve. Now let's do sweep. So maybe there's some sort of crazy shape up here that is like a ornamental wall that would hide equipment for HVAC or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and now I don't have a reference plane at the very top here. Well, technically I do. I do have a reference plane at this level because it's this level. So we could draw on that level. Or we could do model spline, and I could do draw on face right here. And I'm just going to see that face highlighted because it's like, oh, you want to draw on this face? Okay. So I'm going to just make a cool, weird line. Okay, so I've made a line on the top of the building there. Now I need to make another shape to extrude along it. So I'm going to go to model, and for placement plane, I'm going to go to pick. I'm going to select the endpoint, and it gives me a reference plane temporarily for the end of that. And I will draw just a rectangle on there. So something like that. Now if I select this and this, I should get a solid form. Oh, isn't that lovely? Right on the top. That's actually looking kind of cool. On the top of the building there. Okay. Digging how that looks. Okay, so that's sweep. So that can be any shape you want. It'll extrude it along that line. Just to show you, one thing I might do is maybe I will, there we go. I'm going to just put a little curve on the end of that. Select those two again. Now I've made it infinitely more complex and have a little curved edge along that. Okay, so that is sweep. Sweep blend is basically the same thing. However, it'll take, how will I explain this? It'll take one shape to another shape. These two shapes can be different and they can follow some crazy line. So let's make another weird tower. These two were right on top of each other, so they just went. Now we might say, hey, take this shape and go this way to this shape. So transform from here to there along a path. So I'm going to use this reference plane again. I'm going to try something I haven't done, which is always good. This reference plane is center, front, back. Model line, I'll do spline, center, front, back. I'm going to start it here. Just going to kind of go up like that. Okay. I'm going to draw a model line. I'll start with a circle. And I'll go to pick for placement plane. I'll grab the bottom one. Put a circle down there. And then I'll go to model line again, circle, and I'll go to pick, and I'll do the top one, and I'll do a bigger circle. Okay, this is going to be weird. So now I'm going to grab that one, and that one. I'm going to do create form. Boom, look at that, a cornucopia. So this is starting to look like a circus or some sort of crazy postmodern craziness. I don't like that. So I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to just do line, center, front, back. Go straight up. And I will do a rectangle for the bottom. There we go. And I will do a rectangle for the top. Okay, and I'll select all of them. So we get, okay, something like that. This is looking a little more architectural. Okay, great. All right, so we have extrusion, blend, revolve, sweep, and sweep blend. The last one I want to show you is void. So this is kind of interesting. We've done all additive things. We've just brought things into this model and made and added clay to it, made it all work. Now I'm going to go to model and I'm going to go to rectangle and I'm going to switch it to draw on face right here. And I want to draw on this face and I'm just going to put a rectangle. And now I'm going to select that rectangle that I just drawn on that face. And under create form, I'm going to do void form. Now it looks like nothing happened, although it's highlighted weird. I'm just going to click off in space and I see that it actually created a void. Now you can adjust all sides of that void. Let's see if I can do it. Let's see, there we go. So I could bring it all the way through or bring it just in a little. That looks better. Something like that. Okay. So those are the 6 tools to create complex forms. So keep that in your head. I'm going to make one more video about changing their material and then just show you bringing it into a project. Although the assignment is really going to be all about just creating one of these. Okay, I'll be back.